it will come up and on the left it will say in red.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Hi. My name is Kathy Ziga, and I'm Assistant Director of Academic Advising at Elon University. I also am coordinator of first year registration, so I'm excited to be here today with one of my colleagues to talk about advising at Elon.
Yes. And hi, I'm Brandy Probst. I'm the Director of Elon 101 in the Office of Academic Advising. And Elon 101 is our first year seminar course, and we will talk to you more about what that course looks like and how it impacts academic advising.
So we understand that there's some questions that came through Instagram last night, and so we're going to start off by addressing some of those and then move into some questions that might pop up on our screen as we're chatting today. We know that this is a big time for high school seniors and their families, so hopefully we're going to be able to address a lot of your questions. The number one question that often happens is, what do I get to take and how do I figure that out? We do have a process at Elon. One of the best parts about it is we take information directly from the students in what we call a first year course request form. We take that information that is personalized by the student, and then we create a schedule by hand. So every student schedule that we create for the fall class of 2024 will be handcrafted by an advisor at Elon. That information will roll out later this spring. Sometime in the month of May is what we're thinking, and we're looking forward to learning about students and what their interests are. It's a pretty long form, so I'm going to give you a little heads up about that. But what students are able to tell us are things that they're interested in studying, courses that they may have taken from dual enrollment, international baccalaureate, or advanced placement. So we make sure we don't put you in those courses. We also learn a little bit about what you're excited about for Elon, what maybe you're nervous about. One of my favorite parts is something called the letter to the advisor. Students get to explain the things that they're excited about, talk a little bit about a class that they might be really passionate about, and we read that before we put any schedule together. And one of the great classes that we put each student in is our Elon 101 class, and I do want to turn to Brandy to talk a little bit about what that seminar is like.
Yes, so our Elon 101 class is our first year advising seminar. And so what that means is that every first year student that comes to Elon will be put into an Elon 101 course. In that course, you'll be kind of what I call a community within the community. There will be about you and 14 to 15 other students in the class. The instructor of that course serves as your academic advisor until you declare your major. So every student at Elon comes in as undeclared or undecided. And throughout that first semester, your Elon 101 instructor / advisor is the person that will teach you how to read your degree audit, teach you about majors and minors that you could possibly choose to major or minor in, teach you about the different schools, as well as how to register for courses. All those things that we're doing for you over the summer, you will learn how to do those things through Elon 101. Also, as a part of that course, students will receive a peer mentor in that course who is an upper class student, who's an undergraduate, and they've all taken Elon 101 as well, and they are there to serve as a form of peer support, as a peer mentor, as a peer educator to our first year students. And so we will put you into that, into Elon 101 classes, and throughout the registration process over the summer. So when you see that course request form, it will tell you this information. So you will learn who your academic advisor is, who your Elon 101 instructor is, when you receive your schedule at the end or towards the end of July.
So one of the common questions we often get is, what will I be taking? Are there required classes? So we do like our students to take a first year writing seminar, and we do require two through Elon. One is an English class that may be completed through incoming college credit, AP, or international baccalaureate, like I mentioned earlier. So if that's the case, we like students to take our first year seminar called the Global Experience, also known as Core 110. So students will be either in an English class or a global experience class. So it's okay down the line if you see one or the other. You'll take one in the fall and then one in the spring if you still have the second one to take. That is one of the common courses students will see on their schedule along with Elon 101. And from there, we really are taking your interests into consideration. What we try to do is make sure you're accomplishing some of our core curriculum requirements. And I know there's a lot of undecided students. We work with them all the time. What we're looking for is to help you take classes that will allow you to explore options so you can stay on pace, which I know is a nerve-wracking thing to think about in your first semester in college, but to stay on pace and maybe check a box in the core curriculum along the way. So trial by the core curriculum. Sometimes there's also classes that maybe don't count in the core curriculum, but you want to try them because you've never taken a communications course before and you're excited to try something like that. And that's okay too. Through the Elon 101 experience, students learn how to plan things out so they see where all this fits. But the first year course request also explains part of the core curriculum to students. So take your time. We give students about a month to fill out that form. Take your time. You can ask questions along the way. It's okay to be undecided. I had 3 majors my first year in college. I probably should have come in undecided. So please know it's okay. And I graduated on time, by the way. For all of you families out there, I graduated on time. So it's okay to be undecided. And for students who might need a little extra assistance with their decision making, we do have a course that's called Exploring Majors, and students can request that course as well.
And I'll add too, so Kathy had mentioned that you can plan these things out. And so through Elon 101, every single first year student will create a graduation plan. And so your Elon 101 instructor and TA will walk you through that process. So don't think you need to come to campus with all the answers and knowing exactly what you want to major in or what you want to minor in. We will help you through that process. And it is a living, breathing document. So students use it throughout their time here at Elon up until their senior year so that they can make sure that they're on track to graduate, as well as being able to complete their experiential learning requirements. So we build this into the course so that we can help you think about the planning process and think about the future as well. So don't think you have to come to campus knowing everything or knowing what major you want to be in. We're here to help you through that process.
And when you do get that email, it will come from admissions to complete the first year course request. I cannot emphasize this enough. All of the communications are going to come from admissions first and foremost. And we do that on purpose because we want you to pay attention to the emails as they come in. And if you see them coming from the same place, we hope you're going to keep reading them. But keep on the lookout for those because you'll get them from the World Language Office. You'll get them from our World Language Department, from Residence Life, from academic advising, but all through that ACORN funnel through admissions. And so we really encourage you to stay active through the admissions website. It's super, super helpful for you. I have been informed to go ahead. We appreciate, I know there was one question about undecided earlier that we addressed, but feel free if you want to post some questions as well, and we'll do our best to address as many as possible. And someone just asked, how do we ask questions through this chat window? And there should be a little chat box there for you to type here to, well, no, that's your computer. Sorry. But there should be a little chat function in there. I want to make sure we're addressing, sorry, did you?
Well, no, I was going to add, I think something that's important to be mindful of as well is that for students who are planning to take AP, IB credit, any of those types of credits, make sure you send that in. Send that credit in. I'll say it again. Make sure you send your credit in because as we are creating your schedules, and even if you tell us on the course request form, because we will ask if you are taking advanced placement, IB, any of those type of credit, we'll ask if you're taking that and we'll anticipate it. However, if we don't have the credit, then we won't be able to see what credit you have received. So send in any AP credit, IB credit, transfer credit, dual enrollment credit. Make sure you send in those transcripts and those scores as soon as possible. So, but once you take those exams and get those scores back, make sure you send it to the institution so that we will have access to it, so that we can then go back and, or while we're working on your schedules, or when we go back and review schedules, we'll be able to make those changes for you.
And we know this is a lot of information to cover in a short amount of time. So we will provide some contact information at the end. I'm going to mention it now just in case people are tuning in and out. But we do have an email specifically for course request. That's our first year course request process. It is very simply one word, course request at elon.edu. And again, we'll mention that at the end, but just in case people are bouncing in and out, I wanted to mention it now. So again, I said this is a lot of information. So when you do get the email that says, go ahead and work on your course request, you will have about a month to work on it. Take your time through it. Ask us questions along the way. One of the things that students have an option to do is create a list of 12 class preferences, but we should note you don't take 12 classes in your first semester. So typically speaking, students will take the global experience class or the English class. They may take a math class, sometimes not, it just depends. and then typically 2 core curriculum classes or exploring a class such as the communications class I mentioned earlier, and then Elon 101. So it's pretty common for students to take 15 to 17 what we call semester hours. A little different than credits, but if it makes you feel more comfortable calling it a credit, I guess we'll say okay. But it's typically 15 to 17 semester hours. And that way, we're only planning for the first semester. So if someone changes their path along the way in the first semester, they will work with their Elon 101 advisor during the fall to think about what they would take in their winter and spring semesters. So it's just one semester. And when you do get your schedule released later in the summer, if there is something that has changed, you call us, you work with us, and we'll work with you to update your schedule. We know that some of you put your deposit in a couple months ago. Some will do it in a month or so. And during that time, people change. So we expect that someone is thinking, I'm doing X now, and by the time they get their schedule, they're not doing that thing anymore. So just a little reassurance that you can change what your path will be, and we can work on updating your schedule.
Yeah. Kathy, there was a question about course registration for transfers. Do you want to talk about that process?
Great, yes. So our office does support transfer students as well. We have a transfer student coordinator who works directly with our transfer students. The process is a little bit different because typically transfer students have a lot more credits coming in. So all of those students are contacted directly by the transfer student coordinator, and they will take the students through that process. You're welcome to send an email, and we'll make sure we get you connected to the transfer student coordinator as well. So yes, that's it's a slightly different process. It's not the first year course request form. So there was a question about whether there's a deadline for the course request form. Ideally, yes, we would like you to have that in within about 3.5 weeks after you first receive it. That allows us time to look at all the information and handcraft all those schedules before everybody moves in, because there's going to be quite a few students, and as I mentioned earlier, it is a handcrafted schedule. We look at the information each student gives us, we take our time, and we put a schedule together. There's a team that does this, but it still takes a long time. So we do ask that you get that in within, like I said, about 3.5 weeks after the initial email, because that gives us a good month to work on the schedules, and then another couple weeks to make adjustments as those credits that Brandy mentioned earlier transfer in. So all of that will come out later from admissions in terms of the deposit deadline and the deadline to submit that form.
And so I see that we're getting some specific questions about different majors and minors and things of that nature. I would encourage you, because it's going to vary depending on the major, I would encourage you to maybe go to, you could view the academic catalog to see the types of majors and minors that we offer here at Elon. If you simply go to our website and go to the search function and put in academic catalog, then the catalog will come up there, and you can view all of the schools, all of the majors and minors. There's also links to the school websites to talk about the different majors and minors, alums, jobs that they have received, and internship opportunities, things of that nature. And so if you want to get a sense of what the curriculum looks like for certain majors, what requirements there are for certain majors or minors, so you can compare and contrast and get an idea of possibilities, then you are able to do that by looking at the academic catalog. And then once you receive the course request form, it will also be linked in that form for you to be able to go to that major website as well. So if you pick a major of interest in the course request form, you'll be able to actually click on it. It'll go to the website to give you more information about that major area. So we can keep it more general, so if folks are interested in different majors or tracks, then you can look from there. There was also a question about Phoenix Fridays, and we do want to announce that all the Phoenix Fridays have been canceled due to the current situation. And so admissions, if anything was to be scheduled or rescheduled or anything of that nature, then all that information would be posted on the admissions website for those events.
You all are flying in with great questions.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to mention one that I saw as of right now. It has not changed. Yes, first-year students can bring cars. I know that's an important thing. It's not advising related, but 4 people had given that one a thumbs up, so that was an important question, and probably more now. One of the things Brandy mentioned about course registration is or course selection is you can use the academic catalog, and that will help you be comfortable with what you would see on the first-year course request form. We do mirror the catalog in a way in that we provide students a drop-down menu so they can look at a major such as cinema, television arts, or psychology, and it will give a recommended course for the students to consider. We do it for what would be appropriate for a first-year student. We're not going to give you the whole menu. That would be overwhelming. So you'll see that as an option, and what Brandy was suggesting will just make you a little bit more comfortable when you do see that form. Again, there's so many different kinds of questions.
Let me see that. I'm sorry, we get questions over here to the side. So there's a question about how do you know what AP and dual credits will transfer? So if you want to see, so I think first and foremost, the most important is that for AP, we take Elon will accept 4s and 5s for AP. And we do, that is also on the website. So if you were to go to our website and go search AP, IB credit, there is a list of what the courses are, or what AP courses or exams you've taken, what the score is, and what that score is equivalent to here at Elon. So if you want to see, okay, if I got a 4 or a 5 on this AP exam, or I got a certain score on the IB, then you can look at that list and it will tell you what the equivalent would be here at Elon. And then we will also, again, once we receive that information, so I think someone also asked earlier about, I won't take them until the end of May. Once you take them, once you get those scores in May, just send them then. So once you take the scores, whatever month that is, make sure you send those scores in after you have taken that. And then we will then go back and adjust your schedule or look at your schedule based on what credits have come in and the scores that you have received.
We're also getting questions about whether this will be available after the fact. Yes, it will. So please know that if you missed part of this or you want to go back through it, you can see this again. Again, tons of great questions. We know that some of the questions are about AP, IB, transfer credits. We take them. So, we're having an echo.
Yeah.
Sorry for one moment. But yes, so please send them in. We would love them to be sent and received by July, but we understand sometimes life happens. But don't waste those credits. Please send them in. We want to make sure that you get credit for what you've earned, always. So please, and if it's an old one from junior year, that doesn't sound old, it's only a year, but if it's a previous one, please send those in as well. You may not have thought about coming to Elon at that time, so maybe they're not going to be automatically sent here. So please make sure you do that.
I think there was a question about when do students declare. So the first time that a first year student can declare is at the end of your first semester, at the end of Elon 101. And so you will receive information from your Elon 101 instructor/advisor and from the academic advising office letting you know that it is time for you to declare. If you are ready to declare, you can declare then. For students who are not ready to declare, they would then stay with their Elon 101 advisor until they are ready to declare. Students who do decide to declare, they will then be assigned an advisor within their major department. And so we do encourage students to declare when they are ready, but we also encourage students to declare at the latest within the first semester of their sophomore year so that they can transition to the department, get to know their faculty, get to know their advisor, start talking about internships, possible study abroad, research, any of their ELRs, their experiential learning requirements, and to be thinking about what that may look like for them as they're transitioning through the university and working their way towards graduation. So the first time that a student is able to declare will be at the end of their first semester of their first year.
I'm also seeing a lot of questions coming in about financial aid. That is not our area of expertise, so I would refer you to that office to make sure that you're getting those questions answered. I would not want to guide you in the wrong way when it comes to finances. And I also saw some about living learning communities with residence life. Again, I would refer to that office. They keep their website updated very well, so go to their website to find a little bit more information about that. Just going, what was that question? Sorry.
What scores do we accept AP and IB?
Brandy mentioned that earlier, but advanced placement would be 4s and 5s across the board for classes.
And then we also accept IB scores. So again, you could go to our website, type in AP, IB credit, and the list is going to come up of what AP, IB credit we do accept. And
this is coming up a lot, so I just want to make sure we reiterate about when you get an advisor. your first advisor is your Elon 101 instructor, and they will reach out to you later in the summer after you receive your schedule. So you won't know them, they won't know you right away, but it usually happens as we're pivoting from the end of July into early August that we do reach out to you all. I'm also seeing questions about orientation. We have a great new students in transition programs and does run orientation for both first years and transfers. Those are parallel programs, so they happen at the same time with some of our big events happening together, and then some of the individual sessions being based on what the students may in particular need. Yes. This went fast.
Yes, it did.
With amazing questions, and I mentioned earlier our contact information. So I would ask that people email course request, one word, course request at elon.edu with any questions that were not addressed. That is the best way to reach out to us, and then one of the several advisors in the office would be able to respond to you directly. So this was great.
Yeah,
thank you so much for your time today.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right.
Have a great day.
We could have spent an hour.